Okay, okay. Am I right? Am I now live? Okay, yes. On YouTube. So I'm live. And what did I want to say? I wanted to. I wanted to write something. Sorry. Yeah, I was watching these comments that I have. This same stretch of comments that I mentioned yesterday on live stream. I wanted to write something a little bit of something about that, right? Because yeah, I got another comment, and it's interesting, right? I thought it was interesting at least, but yeah, I wanted to write about some frustrations that I have, and yeah, I wanted to write because I'm kind of tangled up, right? Because reading all of these comments uh, kind of tangle me up. They make me confused and make me doubt what I thought was a good idea. And it turns out it's not that good of an idea. And now I wanted to like clarify my head around like what's going on and all of this shit, right? Because yeah, it's this is all kind of about a job, about getting a job and all of this, right? And I was listening today to a podcast about finance, and yeah, the main advice is obviously to get a job, right? To maximize income and all of this, and yeah, it's good advice, right? I think right now the thing is that I am not taking the good advice because I am like I can afford to. Right? I don't have kids or whatever. When it comes to that, I will probably have to take the advice, right? Okay, I will have to not to do the opposite of this, right? I will have to tailor myself to the market or whatever the fuck, right? But I think that right now I have a chance of I don't know of what, right? But of something that does not require so much tailoring, right? That does not require so much thinking in value terms, right? I like I think I don't know, maybe this sounds passive or this sounds whatever, but I like I want to be discovered essentially, right? I don't know exactly why or whatever, but I want to be discovered. Yeah, let's go with this. I want to be discovered. That's a good title, I think. And yeah, as I said, I'm not sure if it's passive or not. Like, I guess it's a bad aspiration because it's passive and out of your control. Which I do get, right? I get that it's passive, it's out of my control, that the ideal thing or whatever is to not be passive and to be active, to instead of instead of waiting for to be discovered, to go out of your way to seek stuff, right? And I have not had good luck being discovered, right? I would say that I have had a good experience, but not much else, right? And it was not. Yeah, I was going to say something like it was not that good of an experience, but yeah, that's a bad way to sum it up. Essentially, it was a good experience with some bad parts, which does not make the good parts less good, but it does make like the whole thing have this bitter undertone. But and because of the nature of that bad experience or whatever, I am less confident in me being able to handle these kind of things, right? The good was good, but the bad was not, and that was difficult to handle for me, right? It's not something that I'm good at handling, I would say. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I want to mention something like I am doing the right things for this, I think, right? Because I want to be discovered myself, right? I want to be discovered myself. I want to be discovered. I don't want some curated or crafted version or whatever be discovered. That's the point. Right? That's the whole point of I, right? Yeah, so to clarify the sentence, I want to be discovered, like it has several parts, right? Passivity, right? Passivity. Be discovered. That is the passive form, right, of the verb discover. I want. So, what does the I want part think? Right? Yeah, so mainly the I, right? I. That means that I don't want to heavily tailor myself to someone. Right? And this is all coming from what I want to do, right? It's not coming from what I think should be the ideal for everyone or whatever, right? I'm not going on those topics, right? I don't judge people who tailor themselves for whatever because I guess it works, right? It is something that works. And I can't judge shit that works. But I also don't want to suffer from imagination deficit, right? Because of my imaginary deficit, I don't want this, for example, this line. And do not expect others to find a job for you for one that's unrealistic. Even if it would happen, you can be 100% sure such job won't be perfect for you, but for the employer. I think that's an interesting sentence, right? Why am I recording? I think it's an interesting sentence. And one that I don't agree with, right? I don't agree with that I do not expect, right? I don't expect it, right? Like it's not something I'm counting on for, right? It depends on also what you count as counting on, right? What do you mean don't expect it? Like, I don't know. Something that I thought about right now was, for example, writers. Before, you could not post whatever. I don't know. I don't have it. Like I don't have many thoughts on this. Right? I don't have like thinking. I'm not like thinking of this. Right? I don't know. These are not thoughts that I have. These are feelings that I have. Right? I think. I don't know. I think that I don't know. I'm kind of holding on to principles, right? Don't let imagination deficit, fuck with you or something, right? Imagination deficit. Like to me, that's imagination deficit, right? To some people, maybe it's. To some people, maybe it is like not imagination deficit, and it is Uh, yeah, to some people maybe it's not imagination deficit, and to some people maybe this sentence is like true, right, and obvious. It is just regular advice and obvious. And to me, I see like the reality of it, and I see how that is, I guess you could call something like a mainstream idea that makes sense, right? That all of those components kind of make sense, right? You can't expect other people to find a job for you. That's unrealistic, and even if it would happen, you can be sure that job won't be perfect for you, but for the employer, right? That is something that makes sense. But I don't want, like, to me, just because I can't picture what that could be, I don't want to close myself to that, right? So I am out there, right? And you can check what I'm about, over 100 videos. I'm not expecting anyone to watch them all or whatever. And yeah, that is unrealistic, right? And maybe that person who would do that would actually be some crazy person or whatever. But because of my experience of doing things, right? Because of how I watch stuff, right? Sometimes I watch some stuff for like several hours, and sometimes it's not well polished. Sometimes it's better polished. I don't know. It depends. Like there are a lot of different formats that I watch. I'm not sure what can be a hit and what can't be a hit. That's the whole point. And you should plan some narrative. Yeah, I agree, right? I have videos telling my stories and like trying to tell my story in a more concise way or whatever. And yeah, I will work on that. But also, I'm not closing myself to someone discovering my narrative, right? Or I don't know, coming here and trying to help me with my narrative. But because while I appreciate this feedback and all of this feedback like is not curious about like, well, some of this is actually curious about me and asks me about my values and all of this, right? But then the discussion stopped. But yeah, so because these people have been curious, I am going to answer, right? And that's what I wanted to write. I wanted to write about this. So, essentially, yeah, I want to be discovered. To clarify the sentence, like, to me, the key components of this sentence are passivity, aka be discovered, right? And the I part, right? I don't want to heavily tailor myself to someone. I guess it's about aspiration because it's passive and out of control. Then, so how this. So why am I saying this? Because in the video of my skill set, right? Because in the video of my skill set, I Nakama. ¿Qué pasa, mijo? Because in the video of my skill set, I made some comments. I got into a couple of back and forths that made me think about this. What are you doing? I am writing a video that I'm going to make. It's about inspiration. Think of the feedback was basically right in that they noticed that was what was going on. Yes. The script, yes. I will record it right after now. Like after writing the script, I will record it while live streaming it also. This sentence put it well. And now, but I wanted to give my retort to this. Imagination deficit. But I wanted to give my retort to this. I accept the frame somewhat, but I also don't want to suffer from imagination deficit. As Visa puts it here. I think I am doing the right things for this. And I don't want to close doors just because they're unlikely. I mean, I'm putting all of my eggs in that basket, but still. Oh. Okay, I'm going to record this now, so I won't be seeing, well, while I'm generating the background image chat, I might see the chat, but after I won't. What? What the hell? Yesterday in what? I ink the rims with color in the car in the color matte black. Nice. Fuck. Fuck it. What was the Bing Images thing? Images creator. Fuck. So many codes. Okay, so let's see. Fondo de pantalla. Para un vídeo 16:9 video background for a video titled I Want to Be Discovered. Let's see what the fuck appears. I sent you some pictures. Lol. Not bad. Hostia. Está todo rayado por atrás. Ok. Vamos a ver. $14.50 al mes, amigo. PS, navegador, propiedades. Something like this, fuck it. Okay, all the creators use this web to create videos. It's like a bank of images. Nice, but it's 14 euros. Yeah, I'm seeing it here. I'm wanting to do free stuff for now. Okay. So script. And the eye is here. Okay, more or less. So basically, I want to be discovered. Then X conv imagination deficit how does this look like this? And fuck it, let's remove stuff. Inspector. Boom. 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 Well, you can't see anything, but I'm removing stuff. Boom. 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 I don't know why I put effort in this if it's not going to make a difference, but fuck it. Fuck. Fuck. All this effort for nothing. Okay. So let's back to the script. Okay, this is the imagination deficit one, and fuck it. Okay. Perdón. I want to be discovered. To explain what I mean with this sentence, I'm going to go not word by word, but more or less component by component. So, for example, this I want part, the very important part of this is the I part, right? I want to be the person who gets discovered, right? So, I want it to be as real of a representation of myself and like what I am or who I am or these things as possible. So, I don't want to like heavily tailor myself to someone. Then, the other part of this is the be discovered part, right? So there is passivity in that, right? I want someone else to find out who I am, right? Then obviously this has some thought behind it, right? And well, some things you could say against that, and that is what brought me to say this. So this is what brought me to say this. I've made a video recently about my skill set, and I got a lot of comments actually. Well, a lot of back and forths, and yeah, essentially they were like not against precisely, but yeah, kind of saying that my way of doing it was not ideal, and I agree. And this line especially, it says you should plan some narrative and don't expect others to find the job for you. For one, that's unrealistic. Even if it would happen, you can be 100% sure that such job won't be perfect for you or for the employer, but for the employer. And I agree. I think that feedback is basically right, right? They noticed that what is going on is this passivity or this sense of wanting to be discovered instead of me going after jobs, right? Instead of me like properly job hunting. And they notice that this is a bad aspiration, right? Because I guess you could say that it's passive and out of control, right? The sentence itself put it well, right? Don't expect others to find a job for you. That's unrealistic. And even if it would happen, you can be 100% sure that such job won't be perfect for you, but for the employer, right? Yeah, there are also considerations of who would actually be willing to put that effort and for what purposes, right? But that is when I wanted to come up with like my retort, which is this video. my retort to this is basically that I don't want to fall for what Visa like highlights here, right? I don't want to fall for the imagination deficit. That is kind of the most staggering thing in the human realm, right? Like, I don't want to fall for the lack of imagination just because I cannot figure out a job where someone would find it for me, and that job wouldn't be perfect for me, right? Just because I can't figure out what the perfect job would be right now at the moment doesn't mean that I don't want to like open myself to that and to really give that possibility a shot, right? And to put myself out there in a way where that happens, right? That is kind of what I am building my frame on it, right? And that is why my video is honest in that way, right? I don't disagree that my video that video was bad, but it was honest at least, right? And yeah, that is essentially what I think about this, right? Right? I think I am doing like the right things for this. I'm trying to not should have open the right doors would be the right thing to say, but I think I am at least putting myself out there in a way, in an honest way. I'm trying to communicate ideas that I care about or things that I think of, how my mind works, how my mind works in a way that people could find interesting, right? I think that is what is kind of happening here. I think I am doing the right things for that to happen and for not be extremely unlikely. I know it's still extremely unlikely, but it's not impossible, right? And I think I'm doing things to prevent the fact that it is impossible, right? Because there are some cases in which it's impossible, right? If you are simply expecting your parents or whatever to give you a job and to give you a job that you want, and you know really clearly like the limitations of them, then it's unrealistic. But when there is like such openness available, I don't want to be that lack of imagination to be the limit, right? That's why I'm doing all of these things, I think. And I don't know, the last thing I wanted to say in this video was that this doesn't mean I am putting all of my eggs in that basket, at least all of my mental eggs, right? But I think I am in a position where I can afford to do this, right? I don't have expenses, right? I don't have a family to take care of or anything like this for the moment. So for the moment, I am putting like a lot of, not sure if energy, time, or certainly time, but I'm putting like a lot of this into seeing if it could happen, if it can happen, and trying to figure out ways in which it can happen, or trying to figure out paths that could lead to more possibilities of something like this happening versus closing paths. I think that is like a fair strategy. And for example, if someone commits super hard to something really concrete, I respect that a lot, right? But it's not my time to do that at the moment. I think that is my opinion. You feel free to disagree or whatever. And yeah, that's essentially all I wanted to say in this video. Feel free to comment stuff here because that is what makes me think whether I'm thinking the right things or not. And yeah, bye. You can hire me if you want, by the way, before that. So yeah, this is the video of my skills. You can see what I'm opening myself up to be hired for. And judging by the comments, it's actually a pretty bad video that does not really conduce anyone to hire me. But I don't know, I'm open to seeing who would hire me based on this video. So yeah, definitely do. And yeah, comment. If you don't want to hire me, at least comment something of what you think about my approach or what you want me to speak of next. And that's it. Bye. And I'm closing the stream. Hello Blitzer aka Amix. Hello Blitzer aka Amix. Falit Segal, Subrob, what you doing? Okay, bye everyone. I was doing a video on live stream, but now I'm finished and I'm cutting